Hello and welcome to another Advent of Code Day. Today is day 10, so if you forgot to zero pad your day folders, now would be a good time to start. But anyway, for day 10, we have a bit of a brace matching problem. And I actually love this problem because I spend a lot of time working on code formatters and linters and stuff, so I've built something very similar to this brace matching thing before. But anyway, we're going to be given lines of inputs, and they're going to have 4 types of braces, and there are 2 types of lines here. One will have mismatched braces. So for instance, where's one with a mismatch? This all looks fine. Why are there no examples popping out? Anyway, there are some that have mismatched. So like the wrong opening and closing brackets for a particular line. I'm not seeing any of them for some reason. Most of the lines have a mismatch, so I should be able to find them, but oh, here's an example. So this opens with a square bracket and then closes with a curly brace there. So that's a mismatch. Anyway, for part 1, we are going to try and find those mismatches per line. And when we find one, we want to add in this particular value and then stop processing that line and go on to the next one. So for that, we are going to, well, first I'm going to make this mapping here. I'm actually going to copy this from the code I did earlier so I don't have to type it all out again. Day 10 part 1 .py. A little bit of spoilers here. I might as well actually just copy all 3 of these since we're going to need all those anyway. So I'm actually going to keep track of a forward mapping of braces and a reverse mapping of braces, and we're going to use this throughout our actual solve for today. Let's go back to here. Okay, so we want to loop through each line for, oops, I'm in SQL mode, for a line in input s.split lines, split lines. Now, the way to think about brace matching, at least the way that I think about brace matching, is you build up a stack of the braces that you've seen, and when you get a closing brace, you can check it against the brace that's at the end of your current stack, and if it's correct, then you pop it. If it's incorrect, then you continue onwards. So we want to do for C in line. If C is in the forward braces, we need to have our stack here as well. Stack equals this. If it's in our forward braces, we're just going to push it onto our stack and then hopefully pop it later. Stack dot append. It's not push in Python, it's append. Push in JavaScript. Otherwise, if it is in the reverse, so it's a closing brace, then we're going to say if if reverse C is equal to stack -1. So this is the case where we have matched the brace that we put into our stack, and this is an okay matching, so it's not an error. Then we are just going to do stack.pop. But otherwise, if we encounter a mismatch, in this case, so this is when it's not equal, then we want to add our points into our total here. So if I put a total, we'll put that real quickly here. So otherwise, we are going to do total plus equals points of the reversed. Yeah, it's the closing brace. So we just want C. And that should give us our points. And if we figure out our points, we don't want to continue processing here. So stop processing once you find a mismatch. And let's do print part 1 total. And if we run that, python 3 t.py 26397. Cool. That's exactly what we expect. All right, so that's part 1. A little bit of stack management here, not too much there. Pretty straightforward. Let's go on to part 2. In part 2, we want to discard lines with mismatches. Oh, I forgot to finish writing this out. Answer is the median score. Okay, so for part 2, we are going to be recording the scores of each line that has that doesn't have any mismatch braces. But those lines will have unmatched braces. So when the line is completely processed, it will have some stuff left over in this stack. And based on that stack, we need to compute the score and keep track of those. And then later at the end, we return the middle score of all of those sorted. And we're going to be looking ahead and using the statistics module for that one. But let's make this mapping as well. We'll call this points 2. And if we copy paste this from here, they're in the same order, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Cool. So we're going to use that down here. All right, so we want to ignore any of the ones where we break out on where we exit this loop early. And so we're going to use a little trick here called the for else loop. This else will only run if there's never a break inside here. So we know that it's a good line in that case. And in that case, we want to compute the score, and the score starts at 0. All right, we need all of the scores up here, so we're going to eventually do that. And the way that this processes is we're going to add all of the braces that are unmatched. I guess it does. Yeah, for each unmatched brace, we're going to add these scores in there, and we're going to multiply the score over by 5. You can actually think about this as a parsing of this in base 5, but we're not going to do that because that's more work than it's worth. So we're just going to parse this. And we want to do these in reversed order. So for character in reversed stack, we want to do score times equals 5 and score plus equals points 2 of the character. Oh, except we have opening braces inside of our stack, so we actually have to get the opposite character. So we can index into C to go from the opening character to the closed character, or sorry, index into forward to get the closing brace there. And then we can compute the number of points. So that adds up our score, and we need to put our score into scores. Scores.append score. And then at the very end, we need the statistics module. Statistics. And we can compute part 2 by getting the median out of scores. So print part 2, statistics.median scores. And that should get us part 2, 288957. Yes, indeed, perfect. Anyway, there's part 1 and part 2 for day 10. Yeah, this brace pattern and stack pattern, if you've worked with parsers, you've probably seen something similar to this before. But I was able to really jump on this one today. Anyway, hopefully you found this useful, and I'll see you for the next day.